Alright, so I'm back. I thought about it a little bit. Because I finished the game. I finished the game, and to be honest, I don't know what to think about it. Because it just ended. Um, I collected, I think, 5 total vessels, and the lady became whole. And then for some reason, she wanted to fight me, even though I was asking it questions. Even though I've been on its side and not antagonistic to it at all. I was just asking it questions. Um, Now, the game feels... when I finished the game, it felt final. It felt like, yeah, this is the ending you wanted to get. However, I feel like there's more to the game. If this was like an Undertale situation where like the game... It's like... Oh, here it comes again. Yeah, if this was like an Undertale situation where the game like explicitly implied or tell you like don't come back because this game is um because like they live happy lives now, then that would that would feel even more final. But I feel like there's nuances to the relationship between the narrator, you, and the princess that still haven't been explored yet. And I feel like that's my biggest point of contention with the game, is that the game allowed me to finish it to a satisfactory conclusion despite the fact that I don't feel satisfied. I feel like I still don't understand the nuance of the relationship between the princess, the narrator, and myself. Well, the princess, the narrator, me, the monster, the bird monster, and me, the player. Because at the end, once we reach the long quiet, it is me, the player, driving. It's not the monster anymore. So, I have some loaded saves here. I have some loaded games here. But I'm going to be honest. I feel like that's not the way to go. I'm just going to start new. And I think I could just like, yeah. So, turn around and leave. I already said this, right? Forget it. I'm not doing this.
Serious? Unfortunately, you're the only one who can.
Yep. So I'm gonna see if I can like. I'm the only one. There's something about me, right? And then that's another thing. The narrator, the bird guy, put, which I'm also a bird guy, so I don't know. Put me and the princess in some pocket dimension where we're forced to kill each other, and then us forcing us to kill each other always leads to it like helps avoid the end of the narrator's world, like the real world, like outside the pocket dimension. But no matter what I do, I end up feeding the being anyway, which gives her the strength to escape. So I'm not sure what's going on. I guess he doesn't know that, and I don't know that.
Good. As long as you remain focused on your goal, should you make your a warning, she will. We're not going to ignore. The interior blade.
Let's take the blade.
Take the blade. The door to the basement. Her voice.
Who's there?
Yeah. So something that I like about the game is how reactive the game is. Right. Whatever preconceived notion I have about the princess ends up being reality. So if I take the blade, it's because I'm afraid of her, and I'm afraid that she can do something. If I don't take the blade, it's because I believe that she's not dangerous, so in turn she does not become dangerous.
She sounds. Don't let it fool you.
So...
Oh,
See?
are you now? Why don't you come down and let me take a look at you?
Great job. You gave away the element of surprise. Good luck, Hero. You walk
Now
down
instead
the
of
stairs
standing like a
and lock eyes
like a
with the
defensive
princess.
girl, now she
With a
stands
heavy
like
chain around her
standoffish.
wrist. She's so coldly focused on the task at hand.
You weren't kidding when you said you were here to kill me. That giant knife you're holding kind of gives it away, doesn't it?
The blade. Of course she doesn't want to talk. Who'd want to have a conversation at knife point? Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster.
See, now if I
Someone
back
in
down,
cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
it becomes an amorphous other thing, right? Where if I double down on being scared, she becomes more scary. But if I stand down and I give her a chance to humanize herself, she becomes some amorphous, standoffish, but ultimately harmless being.
The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
So I like
Against
this.
your better judgment, you step forward to... We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on...
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship. Do you?
Don't just tell her that.
Is that why they threw me down here? But I don't want to hurt anyone. I like the world, I think.
See, but when we tell her this, when we come across without the knife and we tell her easily, she's like, what? Why would I ever do that? But here she's like, oh, well, why would I ever do that?
I don't remember much about it, to be honest.
Just how long has she been down here?
If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, then how did I wind up here, chained to a wall? Have they told you why I'm allegedly so... dangerous?
Sooner or later, you'll understand that I have...
How sweet. Now be a pal and help me get out of here, would you? We could figure out how to deal with them after I'm free.
You walk up to the... They're large and heavy.
I'm guessing you don't have the key.
Maybe it's somewhere up doubtful. Whoever locked...
Yeah, but she's different. This is the same,
Well, you do have that big, sharp knife. You could always cut me out of here.
She speaks with... If we were stuck down here for long enough, I'm sure we'd be non... You attempt...
Yep.
You tr- your sh- You make your way back to the... Easier for everyone.
I heard the door slam. They locked the knife. Pick it up and...
You won't lock...
Yeah, sure.
Against your better judgment, you cut into her. The blade is sharp, but she didn't so much as utter. Free from her bindings, the princess turns... How is she so composed after losing an arm?
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
No, we won't have any of us. The Wait, watch. Stop.
I thought this was a little too easy.
Your body lunges forward to sink the blade into her back, but the prince... Stop it. Stop.
Alright, this is new. This is
The
new.
blade. Move.
You're doing your best to help me, aren't you? I can see the conflict in your eyes. I'll make this quick.
She steps forward and pries the blade from your rigid hands.
Maybe I'll see you in another life.
And then she slits your throat with an almost clinical ease. Her face remains unchanged as she watches you collapse to the ground, blood flowing from your butchered neck. This is the end. I'm afraid it is. Everything goes... You're on a path. You're here. I can assure you... Don't forget what he did to us the last time around. I wouldn't trust a word out of his mouth.
Okay. Since we brought the knife, she was more standoffish, and we did the same. We were able to do the same thing, but this time, instead of her struggling to kill me because she was so girly and so weak, this time she was like, she's a beast.
I'm inclined to agree. If he doesn't remember what happened last time, maybe you...
Let's just go. What happens if I turn around and leave, actually?
I'm not so sure running away is the best idea. Seriously? You're just... Thank you. Good.
Okay.
Going back to the cabin is the only way we... A warning. She will... Yes, don't believe a word she says. Just go in, take the knife, and do what you're supposed to. Wink. Did you just say wink out loud? No, I didn't. Wink. Just ignore this clown and focus on the princess. The interior of the cabin is less a cozy woodland retreat and more like a dungeon. A few pathetic wisps of starlight attempt to illuminate the cold, uninviting stone walls, and thick, wrought iron bars barricade the windows, reminding anyone who enters that this is a prison. The only furniture of note, the blade is your... You take the blade from the table. Good idea. Much better to be armed.
The mirror's always there, but I'm never able to use it.
The basement creaks open, revealing an old stone staircase. A few sputtering torches attempt to vaguely illuminate your path, dancing across glimmering patches of slimy moss on the stone steps. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. Her voice, harsh but controlled, carries up the stairs.
Is that a visitor I hear? Please, come downstairs.
Does she remember us? You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. She looks up at you, the heavy collar around her neck clanking loudly as she moves. The chains binding both her wrists to the far wall, joining the metallic chorus as she adjusts her hands in her lap. Should we be worried about the one around her neck? Why would you be worried about her restraints? If anything, they'll make your job easier. Have you noticed the empty chain on the wall? Odd that in a place where everything seems to serve a distinct purpose, there would be something so obviously useless.
What an interesting development. Why don't you have a seat? The two of us should chat before you bury that thing in my heart.
You step towards the princess, but she stops you before you get too close, holding up one shackled hand.
There's fine. I'd prefer we keep some distance until we've sorted this out.
That's reasonable. We do have a weapon. Might as well put her at ease. You do as she asks and sit on the floor, still a good distance away from her.
Thank you. Now... I don't know, but you could always try it on. Maybe it'll fit.
I hope I don't actually have to say this, but please...
Oh, are we acknowledging that? I thought we weren't going to give away the game.
First you make a comment about having... As much as I would like its ideally this was supposed to be one and done. You go to the cabin, you heroically slay the princess, and in the process you save the entire world from being damned to oblivion. The situation right now, where you're getting a second shot at things, is a contingency.
Interesting.
A contingency for what? For you failing, obviously. And you being here means that things are going to be a lot harder than they were. I really shouldn't say anything else, I'm just going to make it work. If you knew this could happen, why didn't you tell us? All of this is incredibly valuable information. I needed you to be in the dark for as long as I could keep you there. And maybe I wanted to be the first version of me that you met. I didn't want to be confronted by the alternative. That's pathetic. I never said I wasn't. I get it. It would be pretty upsetting, wouldn't it? To know that you might not be the first version of yourself. At least we can remember what happened before. Seems like we should count us. Exactly, he gets it. You're lucky. So don't wait. Moving on. Why is it important for us to be ignorant? How is it ever helpful to be in the dark? The more I say, the more your mind will swim into dangerous waters. Your success hinges on you having imperfect information. I will just give it a rest. This isn't helpful.
Focus. This is a serious situation. You shouldn't be daydreaming. Yes, your intentions. There isn't a keyhole in these shackles. and I don't see any keys in your hands either. So I'm afraid my own...
Is she forgetting about the shack? Or does she think she'd survive a beheading? You're right. Maybe she... Unless she really could.
So I suppose you could just be here to kill me. But I don't think that's in either of our best interests.
I'm just gonna lock myself up.
I wouldn't do. And why? Do I even need to explain myself? And what? Is it going to lock the second? I don't know. He doesn't want us to look at it. But what if he's telling the truth? He is. I am. Against your better judgment, you approach the chain dangling from the far wall. The princess watches you with faux disinterest as you inspect it, though she can't fully hide her curiosity.
Let's just get locked together and see what happens.
I don't want to say what I'm supposed to say next. What is that supposed to mean? Yes, it's bad. Come out and say it then. You're just fine. As you hoist the shackle, its heft shifts within your grasp, as if pulled by some odd magnetism. Before you can so much as blink, it practically leaps from your hands, snapping around your neck. And, as if your situation weren't bad enough, the same magnetism repels your blade, which is flung from your hand and sent skittering across the floor of the basement.
Excuse me?
Yes? Are we stuck here now? Yes.
Huh, so it does fit. And I guess it doesn't like your knife. We're stuck here together, aren't we? That's funny.
What are we supposed to do now?
Can't even cut ourselves out. Guess we'll starve.
That's horrible.
It's not all bad. We learned a valuable piece of information.
Not to touch things we specifically told not to touch.
No, but there's something special about this loose chain. It's clearly important.
It's true. I agree.
Yep. Wait, I guess. Maybe something else will happen. Maybe not. No. Nope.
That's rude. You and the princess wait in silence, though neither of you know what you're waiting for. But you're waiting for something. You're waiting for anything.
Yep.
This is so boring.
There must be something we can do to get out of here.
But there isn't. Time passes. It passes and passes and passes. And the basement of the cabin remains much the same. It is cold and silent.
At least the world is safe.
It isn't. You're stuck. Too far away from both the princess and your blade to do much of anything.
Oh, it's
She's not
fine.
ending anything. She's just sitting there. Her very existence is a threat. It harms everything around it.
How exactly does that work?
It just does.
See, I don't get it. If the narrator put the princess in a pocket dimension to prevent death from happening, how does her being alive in the pocket dimension makes it a threat? I don't get it.
But your line of questioning is interrupted by the passage of even more time. And after that, even more time passes again. And let me guess.
If time is passing, the cabin can't be the same. Even if the differences are small, they have to exist. That's just how things work.
I suppose you're correct. Things are changing. The differences are small at first, a bit of weathering here, a bit of erosion there, but then they get larger and larger.
I don't like small talk, remember?
Still rude.
You continue to wait in silence, and the cabin continues to change. The decay comes faster now. You can see earth through holes in the stonework, can watch lichen spread along the seams of the walls.
That doesn't make sense. Has our entire concept of time changed? What happens to starving? We should have died by now if the rocks around us are starting to erode.
She hasn't starved.
I guess she hasn't.
Even more silent time passes as you watch roots push themselves through the increasingly porous walls of the basement. Dirt seeps inside, flowing across the stone floor like a liquid, covering the ground and threatening to swallow you both. Time continues to pass, and pass and pass until suddenly there are no walls. And then... And?
I think he's gone.
Would you look at that? We made it out of the cabin, and nothing bad had to happen to either of us. So this is the outside world. It's cold.
She's gone. And is that a... There's something...
You're right. Part of me wants the truth, but something stronger is holding me back.
He is.
It must have. Do any of us know what the world ending is supposed to look like?
So this, like, again, the mirror, when we look into the mirror, here we see Feathers, right, which is us.
If there's
You're right. She's...
We're like at the core of the pocket dimension, I guess.
I'm begging you.
And then we look into ourselves.
Something finds me in the long quiet and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel. I am solitary light, thoughts without connections. I think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks. You are familiar, but you are not me. I feel sadness.
Yeah, we're both beings trapped in like this pocket dimension. And this one is fractured and split into all sorts of different vessels, I guess. And by putting the vessels together, she becomes whole.
Yes. No, this one is determined, but also cautious. One that would rather let the world move. Do not mourn her. She is exactly where she needs to be. My roots burrow in an ocean beyond your sight. We can... Nothing, as we are. But I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, bring me more perspectives, so that I may... More than you have found, but less than there are to find.
Okay.
You ask of things that cannot. How can I know? I am flickers in something. Then we will be here forever. Everything. If you need time. You are as I am now, and forever is a long time to remain undone. I am not you, but I know that I would return before forever was finished. What textures will you weave for yourself to occupy forever? Will you place the images of you and I into a box for safekeeping? If you close that box, will you become another you in another world? An imaginary pattern repeating itself until it can no longer bear the weight of its hand-drawn cage? You'll always come back to the box, because you'll always want to know what it means to be you. I will be here waiting by your side until you're ready to return to mine.
Oh. Oh, the game crashed. Okay. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, so like these are two beings that are like part of death.
You have returned to me. Though you were gone mere moments, I never left your side.
I wonder what happens if I leave forever. Or like I leave for a year. Yeah, so like we're both.
She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
You're on a path in the woods. You're here. Don't mention it. It's all part of the job. You make your way. A warning. She will love. We're not going to go. Ignore it. The interior blade. You take the door to the basement. Her voice.
Who's there?
She sounds. Don't let it.
Oh, it's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten.
You walk down the stairs. She's so. Focus on the task.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something? Then drop the knife.
We should. It'll go. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can just. You ignore the trembling in your hands and tighten your.
You poor thing.
You step forward. Your grip on the blade.
I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it. So, you should just...
She's unarmed. If you... You go into this expecting to die, you're going to die.
Hesitating? Why don't you drop... Then I'm not talking to you. I guess we are.
For the love of every... Or drop the blade. You stare at the princess, squinting fierce.
I wonder what happens if I do nothing. I just
She squints back. The two of you are gonna do this. You'll have to blink. The blade tumbles out of you.
Thank you. Maybe now...
Against your back will be fine. Don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relation. Don't jump to any weird conclusions. Which...
She hesitates before answering.
You can address me as your Royal Highness. Or her...
Note the lack of detail.
Do you? You're lying.
How does she know that?
Don't think that just because I'm the one in chains, it means you have a right to interrogate me. Oh, have
You know. That seems like a pretty good compromise. Leaving her alive is too.
One way or another, I'm going to, and if you don't, I can promise that you'll come to regret.
You have. I know you think this is a fair. It's a chance we'll have to take. We can make this work if we just stay here and keep.
You're making a mistake.
You turn your back to.
It won't be long before I slip these chains.
Slip these chains. She can't, right? She needed our help to get out of here. Either way, she dropped her mask, didn't she? It's never too late to do the right thing. Now hurry. You charge the princess, blade trembling in your... She casually sidesteps your thrust before knocking you to the... We shouldn't have hesitated. But she doesn't stop there. She kicks you a few times for good measure, the pointed tip of her shoes feeling like a pickaxe against your fracturing bones. As you lie, crushed and broken on the basement floor, the princess kneels on your throat with the kind of weight you didn't think her slight frame could possibly possess. As you gasp for air, she eyes you with an intense curiosity. You shouldn't have let that fear creep into your heart. You had the upper hand.
Is this really the best you could?
She applies more pressure. This is the end. I'm afraid it is. Everything goes. You're here. I can assure you that if he doesn't remember what happened, you know I can hear. What does it matter what he knows? There's nothing we can do to stop. She is not going to kill. Warn. She will. We might. Can we? I'm not being a pessimist. You're being a. Just ignore their bickering, and whatever you do, don't pledge yourself to her. I cannot stress enough how absolutely. I agree. If she's wrongfully imprisoned, then we should rescue her, but if he's telling the truth, we shouldn't just rescue her. Given the stakes of this. So please, try to. If that's what you want. The interior of the cabin is larger and more grandiose than its humble exterior would suggest. The only furniture of note is a massive marble altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your... Why do we feel so small? We don't feel small. You take the blade from the altar. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a spiral staircase. Its steps almost as deep as you are tall. The smell of incense drifts up from the... This is actually kind of nice. It's still a stone basement. Her booming...
Is that a guest I hear? Don't linger on this.
You weren't kidding when you said it was booming. We need to get down there. Should we be worried about your sudden change in attitude? Just a few minutes ago, It doesn't matter what that little voice says. He's not the one making the decisions. Though if his ramblings get you to the princess, they get you to the princess. Making your way down the spiral staircase is a time-consuming and exhausting effort, every step requiring you to clamber over one edge before dropping to the next. But soon the end comes into view, and you tumble to the bottom, entering the vast, temple-like room beyond. The princess towers over you, almost glowing in the weak starlight, her figure framed by a stained glass window.
Oh, she's floating.
Her long hair billows around her, and a chain binds her wrist. The chain is nothing to her. It might as well be a toy for all the good it would do.
The little bird has returned to me. You've brought that knife again, even though you know it's useless. Such... Drop it.
The blade slips from your fingers and clatters uselessly to the floor. We didn't have to do that, and yet you did. She's so much more than us. You wouldn't understand what it feels like to be in her presence. Oh, I understand what's going on, and you'd better snap yourself out of it.
Kneel.
On her command, you fall to the floor, knees painfully connecting with hard stone.
That's my good little bird. Now, why don't we talk? The last time we met, you couldn't even scratch me. And yet here you are again. Trying to
might as well, see?
You've already catastrophically failed. What draws you back here beyond the empty halls of death? Speak.
The last time we met? I suppose that lends credence to our conversation in the woods. Still, whatever. You weak-willed buffoon.
Is that so?
The princess closes her eyes in contemplation.
Something about that thought wraps itself around my heart. It feels like a fundamental truth to my being that I'd somehow forgotten. The collapse of the old is a necessary prelude to the birth of the new. And the world as it is now is overdue for alterations. It's time for me to seize my destiny.
She's inevitable. There's nothing else.
Your will was so easily broken. Am I that magnificent? All you need to do now is break my chains.
If this is what you want, then I guess there's not much else for me to say. No,
Why is she kind of
Can't
bad?
just get into her, not when the stakes are so high, not when
Look
you're
at these
so
hips,
close.
oh my
I
God.
won't let you do this.
There's still something in the way. A greasy film inside of you where it doesn't belong. Trying to conceal you from me. Is that a person? No, it used to be a person. It's something different now. An echo.
Is she talking about you? That's impossible. She's not supposed to be able to interact with me.
You're a small one, aren't you? A shriveling little worm stretched beyond its limits, trying to control things that it can't understand.
No. What are you talking about? I'm just...
I don't care what you are. You're mine. Rise, my little bird.
Without hesitation, you're brought to your feet.
Break my chain.
And how are we supposed to do that? All we have is a blade. All you need to do is believe it's been done. Her chains shatter, and the cuff falls from her wrist. She is loose, and the end is upon us.
What a good disciple you are. Come, it's time for us to leave.
She's gone. And is that a... This... I don't want to look at us.
Flickering lights and empty cityscapes. Whenever you are... This one is dominance, a figure capable. Do not mourn her, for she would not be able to mourn you. If I am to be an ocean, you have nurtured me into a pond. My water, you will have your rest in due. I will long for your... We will meet again.
You're on a path in the woods. You're here. You make a warn. She will love. We're not going to ignore. The interblade. You take the door. Oh,
Who's there?
she said, don't let. Good. You're still listening to reason. You walk down the she's focus on the task.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something? That isn't a good idea.
She's right. Don't you dare. It's fine. You ignore the.
You poor thing.
You step forward.
Oh? No talk. I'm probably chained up in this basement for... So,
She's unarmed.
then I'm not talking to you.
Doubt unfold. A moment of distraction and hesitation. It feels like you've been hit with a sledgehammer. You can feel, holy shit, that hurt! Though she's unarmed. The shock of that first strike is enough to stagger you. Putting you and the princess, your blade slashes through the air again and again, and her fists connect with your body as many times or more, each impact as heavy as that first bone-crushing hit. We can still turn this around. You and the princess stare at each other, both gasping for breath, equally exhausted. You probably won't make it out of here alive. Excuse? Do you think this is what I wanted to happen? I have a duty to state the facts of the situation. Can you not feel all those ruptured organs bouncing around in there? If the princess doesn't do our friend in herself, internal bleed. The two of you clash for the final time. You feel your ribs break as she delivers a heavy blow, but you push through the pain, falling forward and sinking your blade.
Oh,
The two of you fall.
this What's fun?
The princess gasped.
You put up more of a fight than I thought you would. But I have to wonder, do you really...
But you don't have time to worry over such things. You're hit. It hasn't. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe... You know I can...
That's fine. It doesn't matter if that's the...
Oh, what she will love. Are you sure about the point of the princess will do and say whatever she...
Crystal. Let's...
The cabin is tighter than its exterior would suggest. Its cold stone walls press in on you, as if trying to forcefully direct you towards your destination. The only furniture of note is a black iron altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your... The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a rough stone staircase, its walls pressing at your sides and tightening as you descend. The air seeping from below is heavy and oppressive, with an almost sulfuric odor to it. If the princess lives here, slaying her fierce voice...
Is that another challenge?
This isn't what she sounded like last time.
Good. Sounds like my kind of princess.
As much as I appreciate the enthusiasm, just make sure you don't let your bloodlust get to your head. You need to stay focused and keep your wit as you descend the final step. The form of the prince. Looks like she could rip those chains out of the wall without a second.
Oh, it's you again. I'd been hoping you'd find your way back here. Good to see. And you brought your little... I'm going to have fun.
With a singular focus, you launch off the wet stone floor of the basement and catapult yourself headlong towards the princess.
Here we go. Let's make this count.
Oh, we'll make it count. You can feel flesh give way before a sudden impact blunts your momentum, your weapon tightly lodged in the bone of her arm.
Pull it out. We'll try it.
No, we can do this. Just keep pushing.
We're not gonna win if our weapon's stuck in her arm.
The princess's grin widens as the two of you push against each other, her fiery eyes and masochistic glee practically lighting up the dreary cave.
Yes, you get it, don't you? Yes, you're right. We don't even need to talk about it.
Your balance is suddenly thrown off as the princess pulls you into her knee. It collides with your ribs, and you feel them splint as she strikes you again. You hear the whine of straining metal, and then a snap. It would appear that she's loose. We're fine! But you barely have enough time to notice before the princess follows up, and your grip loosens from the impact, the blade still wedged in her arm as you tumble. I said, we're fine. I didn't say you weren't fine. I was just describing what happened.
You might not have said as much, but you certainly implied it.
It really doesn't matter. The princess glances down at the blade embedded in her arm, and with near total ignorance to pain,
You forgot this.
She tosses it. You and the princess attack each other once again, each of you dealing a single, terrible, lethal blow.
Wait, does that mean we're...
Dead. Or rather, about to be dead. As your blade pierces her sternum, the princess buries her fist into the soft meat of your organs. You feel... No, it's not. But it is over. Dead is dead, I know. Well, are you going to listen to him? Or are you going to listen to me? Get up. Wait, no, that can't be right. Your eyes bolt open and you push yourself back to your feet. Alive.
Ha! I told you. I told you this wasn't over.
What about her? The blade went right through her heart.
What about her? If we're fine, then she's fine.
No, she's dead. She has to be... No!
I knew it. I told you we should all believe in her. This is perfect.
The princess rises from the ground, staggering slightly, one hand wrapped around the hilt of the blade still buried in her heart.
We don't even need to start over anymore, do we? Let's go again.
She pulls the weapon from her chest, barely wincing.
You know what to do.
But she came back. All of you need to settle down. This whole situation is coming dangerously close to untethering. She clearly... Oh, we just missed her heart. Oh, of course, that's all. You were the one who said we hit her heart. Well, I guess you had it. I never said... With an unbreakable determination, you snatch the blade from the floor and stumble back to your feet. Both you and the princess quake with adrenaline as your eyes lock across the basement floor and share a knowing look. Free from hesitation, you close the distance. Your blade digs into her neck, grinding against her vertebrae as her fist connects with your body. The impact forces the air from your lungs, stars dancing in front of your eyes as you fail to keep your bearing. You both collapse to the ground, and then we get up. Yes.
That was a good one.
You and the princess exchange dozens of devastating blows. Sometimes you manage to strike first, and sometimes she tears through you before you have a chance to act. But more often than not, each of you fells the other in the same moment. And then you get up and do it again. We're all still here, isn't it?
What are you waiting for? I'm right here. Do you think this is...
What is this place?
Did we do this?
Huh. I didn't think we had it in us. But I guess that stuck-up control freak was right.
It's the end of the world.
Far from it. We're still...
I feel so... tired.
She's gone. And is that... What is that supposed to mean?
Screw that! This can't...
I am a growing chorus of contradiction, a mass of tides ebbing and flowing all at once in more directions than my attention. All of me. As easily as you can stand to be you. This one yearns to grow and struggle. Even now I feel a will pushing against mine, not realizing that we are one. She will make for a bold heart. Do not mourn her. We will provide her with the growth she fought for. If that remains your choice when all is said and done, then you may try. We will know. I will be here.
You're on up, you're hit. That's the spirit. A warning, she will love. We're not gonna ignore. Into the blade.
Who's there?
She said, don't let.
Oh, it's been so long.
You walk down. She's focused on the task.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
You step forward.
Oh, I'm probably... So,
She's on up. You lunge. You feel
this is... I'm on... Do you actually...
It's like, yes, but it's over. Is it over? It's over. We should make sure. I really don't... And why shouldn't we? I've told you everything that's happened with complete accuracy. You lean down and wrap your hand around the blade's hilt. But as you begin to slide it out of its resting place, you feel a sharp and sudden jab in your side. What was that?
I guess I won't be dying alone after all.
Quick, let's get out of here. It's too late for that now. You collapse to the ground as the mortally wounded princess twists a blade of her own deeper between your ribs. As you fall, she falls with you.
An eye for an eye. I'll see you around.
You were so close. Why did... For whatever that's worth. Everything goes dark, and you You're on a... You're hit. If he doesn't remember... This whole thing's a crock. Stabbed to death. Yeah, calm. Oh, she will... He couldn't be more on the money. We know what to look... Just... The interior of the cabin is a jagged mess of warped wood and broken boards, their splintered edges as uninviting as shattered glass. The only furniture of note is a pointed table with a pristine blade. The blade is your... It feels a bit better to have a weapon in our hand. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing what must once have been stairs. The fractured slats look as if they've been torn from their source and violently jammed into the wall. The air seeping up from below has an almost metallic quality to it, like the smell of fresh blood. And you can hear what sounds like the rhythmic scraping of metal coming from down below. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor. That's right, scraping. I told you she has something, I told you. That sound could be anything. It's probably just her chains dragging across the floor. I am begging you to get out of your head. Her grating voice...
I hope you've come to rescue me. I've been stuck down here forever.
There is something so wrong with that voice. Yeah, she thinks she's better than us, like she doesn't even have to put on an act. As you descend the final step, the form of the princess comes into view, her sharp eyes following you from across the room. I wonder if she remembers us.
Finally, somebody. Quick, get me out of these chains.
Come on now, we're not falling for that, are we? If she sounds threatening, it's because her mask is already slipping.
What are you waiting for? You are here to rescue me, right?
The princess falls silent, her smile unwavering as you charge across the room. Okay, she hasn't pulled out a knife yet, and her hands are still behind her back. I think we can do this. I think we can win. We just have to strike now, but make sure you keep your eyes on those hands. But your focus is broken by the horrible sound of metal slicing through meat. Whose meat? Not ours, right? Hers, at first, then yours.
Hehe.
How? What did she even hit us with? You stare down at your chest and at the long, thin blade she impaled you with. And then the red, angry slit along the flesh of her thigh, where the blade had been nestled just a moment ago. It's still lodged in her leg, emerging from her knee, hinging up and out of her body like some extra metallic limb. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit.
You're going to die now.
With a twist of her knee and a painful squelch, you're on a path in the woods. No, fuck that. If we're gonna have to keep doing this over and over and over... What? The interior of the cabin is sharp, a constricting mess of curved and battered sheet metal pushing you towards... Wait, excuse me? What just happened? What did you just do? I feel dizzy. Oh ho ho ho! I guess I took us to the cabin, didn't I? Isn't that interesting? Who holds the cards now? The circle's getting smaller and smaller. Running isn't an option. Good. It's better that way. Without a fight, no one can win, and if no one can... Great. So obviously you've already been here. This is our... No wonder things have fallen apart. You do realize that every time you fail, she escapes, and an entire world is damned to destruction, right?
I don't understand that. What entire world? There's no entire world. It's just the cabin. It's just the cabin. I don't get it.
That can't be right. That's too much responsibility. Nah, impossibly high stakes. Let's just stay focused, shall we? The only furniture of note is a bent metal. We take it. Okay, sure. You take the blade before letting me finish telling you it's there. It would be difficult to slay the prince. This feels right. We just have... That's right, we will win eventually. That's a fighting spirit I like to see. I'd love to get started just as much as you would, but you walk through the door. There isn't a door, there isn't a mirror. You really messed things up, didn't you? It's like you can't even see reality anymore. I can feel the air coming up from behind it,
If it's in our way,
You make your. Let's just fumble for the handle and be done with it. I don't care what we look like. I care about. You reach forward and place your hand on the door to the base. And the mirror's gone. It was never there.
let's just get to the princess or
Yes, it's time. Just stay focused and you'll be fine. You step forward, but you don't get a chance to linger on the basement stairs. They are smooth and flat and metallic.
Your body tumbles onto the basement floor and the form of the princess comes into view, standing at a distance. She gives you a wry smile.
Hi, it looks like you don't have a way out, so I'm not going to play dumb anymore. But don't worry about how bad you did last time. That's part of the fun.
She's got another thing coming if she thinks we're going down easy again. Pride makes us dead. The only thing actually does survival matter. We've died twice and nothing bad has come of it. Nothing bad has come of it. Plenty bad has come of it. You've left at least one in the past isn't real. That your internal bickering is cut short by the wet sound of slicing meat. From the princess's arms erupt twin blades, glistening with her blood, the empty flesh of her arms flopping at her elbows like torn sleeves. The chain clap. She's loose. And she...
You're going to make me walk over to you, aren't you?
Shit. She's coming for us and I'm out of ideas. Now, I've tolerated quite a bit from you, but this is a bridge too far. Please don't try romancing the princess. She wants to kill you.
Yeah, do we have...
I'd rather not. I'm into it. Can't say I mind either. If it weren't for all the cheating, can we flirt by... A rosy blush flushes in the princess's cheeks, and a wide grin cuts across her face.
You're the only person I know, so that's a first. You're sweet. I like you. You're also gorgeous.
Oh, be damned, this is actually going to work, isn't it?
Still gonna kill you, though.
Or not. Oh, I like her. A blush still glowing in her cheeks. The princess closes the distance between you, blades flashing. She skewers you. Ow. What worthwhile romance doesn't hurt at least a little bit?
Oh my god, we have so many voices.
Likes us. She's even said as much. Oh, a new one of us. I thought that only happens when we die. Did we die? You're on a... No, you're in a... Where the hell are you?
I don't like that we died without us knowing it. This really, really blurs some lines that I prefer not to be blurred. Are we still dead? Are we alive again?
Stop saying dead, all of you. We might have died a second ago, but this is all horribly wrong. How many times have you been?
This is 4.
No wonder everything's such a mess. This wasn't supposed to go past 1.
I wonder what you're going to do next. You're so full of ideas, and I love that.
But I guess we don't have time to talk. Okay, whatever we do gets us another... us. Let's see how many we can stack. There's got to be a point where it makes us better than her. We don't need any other voices chattering about in here. It'll just... Yeah, I'll pass.
As long as we keep moving.
We'll win her heart eventually.
Come on, show me something new.
None of this is working. Think. Think. She skewers you. Well, there's more of us. Let's see if that helps. Then you skewer yourself.
I thought we both understood that dying doesn't get you anywhere.
Huh. That didn't do much of anything. We're tougher than I thought. What's the point? She skewers you.
Oh, don't give up on me just...
It doesn't matter how many times. Okay. Just panic. Flee. She skewers you.
No, you don't get to escape.
See? Okay, yeah. She's going to kill this body either way. She skewers you.
Ooh, not bad. Real tough.
We're getting close to something. You're right. One last time. Let's appeal to her better nature. We haven't tried rescue as you. And then everything goes dark, and you die.
Oh man. Chapter 4.
Don't lose your head. We're in a cabin, and we'll take it from here. Everything feels like it finally fits, doesn't it? We're up here, which is different, and different is good. Oh, what if? Throw it over my... That won't be very hard. We've done...
Besides, what better way to die so...
Sure, I can think of a better... How about we stop thinking about horrible ways to... The only thing we're gonna make... There are entirely too many of you. How many times have you been here? This isn't good. This is... How about you stick to describing things, and we'll stick to doing them? Yeah, leave it to the pros. We'll notch up that win in no time.
Narrator, we heroically stride through the door and towards our destined final...
Fine by me. It's more of a slug. Fine, I'll just shut up then and... Are you sure you don't want me to describe the stairs? Or don't care, just want to win? Fine, you make your way to the basement, where the...
You know, this last time I killed you, and you didn't pop right back up again? I thought I'd actually done it. I thought I'd cut you into so many pieces you just weren't able to stitch yourself back together. But I guess we're not done. That's okay with me. It's good even. I like that. I got something ready for you while you were gone. I'm not going to wait for an answer. I'm just gonna show you.
Are you gonna say what she does? Do you want me to talk now? Well, yeah, she says she has something new. I want to hear about the new thing. Yeah, me too. I think I speak for all of us when I say that I would like to hear you describe... Really?
Here we go. Now.
The princess's skin twists, splitting into red blooms of raw meat as it stretches, and she becomes a wave of blood and viscera, pieces of her splattering against the walls. All that remains in the center of the room is a skeleton of blades. A heart.
Are you ready for what?
Holy sh... She's gorgeous.
Absolutely divine.
Yes, behold. Do you think we can throw her out the window? That looked painful. How is she? Heart's still beating. This is fake. This is... She doesn't even have a back anymore. This is all just a sick... We're screwed. I quit.
Narrator,
What just happened? It's so quiet.
Something feels different about you. It almost makes me feel different. Like I should actually take this seriously for once. You're incredible.
There's a world beyond the endless walls of the long quiet. I am curious to see what it means for us to... This one is a single-minded edge. She is cruelty. Do not mourn her. She is exactly where she needs to be. No, they're mine. I am on the cusp of my awakening. One, whatever you bring me next will be enough, and then gravity will pull the others back to me. I will be singular, a final multitude. We may fight, and we may not. But not all fights end in destruction. Even if you destroy me, it will have been worth it to... The next time I see you, each of us will finally know I will be here.
You're on a path in the woods. You're here to... That's the spirit. You make a war. She will... We're not going to ignore... The interblade. Her voice...
Hello?
Is... Don't...
Wait, really? You're here to
I see. You're...
come downstairs. I want to see the face of my rescuer.
You walk down the stairs. She's beautiful. I am begging...
Hi. I can't believe... I hope you brought something to deal with.
You were...
Okay.
That seems like a pretty good compromise.
I don't think I could bear being down here that much.
Leaving her... So, I'm the only...
One way or another. But if you don't...
You have... I know it's a chance we'll have to take.
Where are you going?
You turn your back to the prince.
Fine. Turn your back on me. But it won't...
Slip these chains. Either way, she... You'll be the death of all of us, but... fine. We'll do it. You close the basement door, locking it behind you and quickly barricading it with the heavy wooden table that once held the blade. Okay. We can make this work. You settle in against the far wall. It isn't long before you start to drift off, your eyelids heavy with fatigue. But sleep doesn't...
I know you're still there. Why don't you make things easier on yourself and let me out? It's not like this little door will hold for very long anyways. Huh? It's probably a good idea to try to get back on my good side.
She sounds terrifying. As she violently rattles the door, you do...
When I get out of here, I'm going to pick you apart piece. You don't know the kind of...
It doesn't... No. Just ignore her. Maybe the banging and wailing will stop if you just... You put the princess's threats out of your mind as best you can. You jolt awake in the middle of the night to silence in the cabin. The ruckus has stopped, and the door to the... Where is she?
Thanks for helping me get out of that awful basement.
You try and stumble to your feet, but as the princess draws near, it's as though you're... It isn't all at once. The paralysis comes in waves. Whose side are you on? Yours, of course. But I have a...
So helpless. I can take my...
She steps closer, one silent foot...
Or maybe I can't take my time with you. You don't look well. What a shame. If you'd only help me get out of here.
Your lungs stop drawing.
I'd say better luck next time. But we both know...
It can't be. Everything goes dark. You're on a path. You're here to... She will... I don't think... It doesn't matter. The interior of the cabin is plain. The smooth wood of the walls almost... The blade is your... Hold on. It's just an empty frame. She's already got now, hasn't she? And she's ready for us. I'm going to need all of you to pull yourselves together. The princess has not already gotten out. But if you keep getting stuck in your head like this, you're going to struggle to get the job done. So deep breath in, deep breath. You reach down and... Good. Is it gonna be enough, though? Couldn't you have given us something else? The blade is the only thing you need to finish your task. Those are the words of someone who...
Alright.
You cross over the threshold and onto a series of isolated steps. More eyes, too. You never mention the eyes. The air seeping up from below reminds you of fresh lightning and static, as if you're descending into a place that isn't meant for a creature of flesh and blood. If the princess lives here, slaying her cruel and...
I didn't think you'd come back. We're gonna have a lot of fun, you and I.
Come back? She must have you confused. You really don't remember, do you? It doesn't matter, we need a game plan. We know we can't just... You attempt to step off the stairs and into the pitch black surrounding them, but you're stopped. Congratulations, you really lucked out. Of all the things that could have... You make your way to the bottom. As you emerge, you find yourself between two loose rows of white wooden planks, suspended in nothingness. A smattering of cobblestones, visible against the inky black of the basement, mark where the floor should be, forming vague pathways. At what seems to be the end of the room, she could be any... Are you really not going to comment? No, I'm not. Somebody needs to be the... Excuse me. I'm being incredibly reasonable. You're the one who's just matter-of-factly describing whatever the hell we're looking at like it's an ordinary basement. We're going to die down here. I don't want to die again. Please stop saying that.
I wouldn't give it too much thought if I were you.
You decide it's...
There you are.
As the princess approaches, your arms... This is it.
And you brought a little knife with you.
There has to be... What did you do? Pull yourself...
I wonder how many times I'll get to play with you before you break.
Your vision cuts out as your blood begins to coagulate. It's as if every part of your being is coming to a lurching halt. Heart. Your lungs pull in a desperate gulp of air as your eyes shoot back open. What are you doing? I'm working. Do you want this body to function, or do you want... And then experience stops once more as your body reapproaches death. Okay, whatever you were doing, please just start doing it again. You sure about that? Are you sure that's what you want, or do you want to interrupt me some more? You have seconds left. Yes, I'm sure. Heart, lungs, liver, nerves, heart. Again, your eyes shoot open as you gasp for breath.
Can't decide what you want to do, can you? Oh well. Standing there gasping like a fish is more fun than dead.
She isn't attacked. The why doesn't matter. She's already proven her ill. Your weapon is still in your hands. Lungs, liver, nerves, heart, lungs, liver, nerves, heart, lungs, liver, nerves, heart, lungs, liver, nerves, heart, lungs. Are you serious? Nerves, heart, lungs. You fling the blade into the void. Nobody's happy here, but...
You poor deluded thing. You think a single moment of bravery changes you into something you're not?
Lungs.
I am what I am, and you're always going to be a coward.
She raises a hand to her mask and pulls it down. You don't get the chance to see what lies beneath before it envelops you. Like a creeping mold, the complete reality of your existence threads its way through your mind. Birth, death, birth again, decay and bloom, a million stitches from a million microscopic wounds you've inflicted on everyone you've ever met, with every muscle you've moved and every word you've... No.
Let me out.
Your existence.
Let me out.
A lonely soul in a room by itself, weeping. It lives for 80 years and then it's gone. And then it's there again.
Let me out.
A reprieve. A good life. Love. Children. A steady career. Recognition from your peers. Here one moment. Gone the next. The worms have found their orifices.
Let me out.
Diagnosis. It forgets everything it is. Anger, rage, distance, poverty. The lonely soul is lonely again. Love turns to mockery. It dies. It is reborn. Worse. Lonelier.
Let me out.
No. What's that?
Let me...
This is all too much. You can't keep going.
Oops. I think I broke you. I'll see you soon.
Oh. Oh!
You're on a path in the... Shit! What? There was a princess, I think. It's all so fuzzy. You shouldn't know about the princess. At least, not until I guess. It feels so long ago, almost like we've never left. We have to let her out. No, that's the opposite of what you're here to do. You have to slay her. Slay? We decided not to do that, didn't we? Yeah, we're supposed to let her out. It's really the only way this works out for us. If you think about it, she's the one with power here. Nobody else can do much of anything.
No, we were supposed to keep her trapped there forever. I think.
We're supposed to be unfeeling. We can't be unfeeling. There's nothing for us.
We love her. Can we love something that hates us?
To be given an ounce of... Why are there so many of us? There aren't supposed to be so many of us. This is bad. You need to get a grip. What did you let happen? How... You slowly make your way through the umbral forest, bumping against unseen trees as you grasp through the... But eventually, you do make it to the cabin. Or rather, you make it to the place a cabin should have been. No, this isn't right. There's a cabin there. There's always supposed to be a cabin there. Don't ask him about the mirror. He always says he never sees it. He always lies. And he always makes it gone. Stay focused. You still have a job to do, and it's best not to be distracted by... She's still here. Berry, just walk up the hill. You always give too much space to the others. It's... They've been heard too much. Exactly. They are delusions, or you could just... You walk up the hill, hesitating just beyond the bounds of the cabin. The cabin that isn't there. You've got to clean the mirror, haven't you? Smash. She's on the other side. It's the only way we can just go around. Just do something. Proceed. Proceed to where? That's a new one. Of course it'll work. He always makes the best decisions. It's why he gets to make them. And it already has worked. We're one step closer to... The interior of the cabin is much the same as the exterior of the cabin. A dull, fuzzy, dreamlike nothing. It's empty and isolating, but there's just enough vague shape and unknown texture to suggest the structure therein. Wrong and unsettling as it may be, the only object of note is the blade is your Take it.
Oh, this is good.
You reach down to take the blade, but as you do, the ground beneath it shifts, the weapon sinking deep into the earth. You lean over the hole and gaze deep in the bowels of the earth. You see something staring back at you. It's her. She's watching us.
You really are a coward.
With every word she speaks, the princess...
I was joking when I said that way back when. You know that, right?
Closer
I was having some fun, and I guess I wanted to see if I could melt you.
and closer
Watching over me forever. That was so brave.
and closer.
But forever is so long. And time erodes everything. Except for me. I've already taken your will, and you're not getting it back. All that's left is for you to take me in. And me out. It'll be so much fun. You and me, together, exploring the world and spreading fear wherever we go. Well, most a witness. I can even make you a little cage if you... Now don't pose. Don't try to resist. I've already molded you into what I need. And you lost...
Do something. Do anything. You extend your hand to hers. For all her past cruelties, the moment feels gentle, tender even. I can't believe you just made me say that. hate you. The motion is difficult at first, as if something still resists your efforts. But then that resistance gives.
And that's the end. I wonder what we're going to do next.
I didn't think I'd be so tired. Why is it so cold?
She's gone. Yeah. I can finally what does that mean? I'm sure it'll be whisked away. Maybe it won't be gone. Doesn't seem like. Finally. Oh, will you. What do we say, boys? Yeah. Seems we've got a majority. Something tells me that this is the end of the line. I feel the fear. I'm done. My heart. The game was. I'll be free. I'm just ready to be anywhere. The boys, it's been an honor. I think you know what I am. No, I am not a part of you. But that's all a matter of from one vantage point I must seem wholly foreign, but from another, well, all the versions of me that have existed have collectively heard your every thought and driven. Because among other things, she is death itself. To rid the world of suffering, to save untold trillions from being lost forever to the cosmic wind, she must be destroyed.
This is the
And
part.
despite how far you've fallen, you're the long quiet, the god I made to rid the world of death.
Okay.
You are you. And if you would let everything work the way it was supposed to, you never would have woken up to the reality of your true nature. There's no accounting for free will. I'm an echo, likely one of many. Somebody made you after all, and I'm what's left of him. Not that I'm the only one who can make that claim. I'm sure you've met many others like me. No. In life I was painfully mortal, a witness to the end of days. I held the fear of death in my heart and saw oblivion threaten the very memory of everything I knew and everyone I loved. I needed to do something, so I made you, and I made her, and I made this place to hold you both. If you need to ask that question, there's nothing I can say to move you. You haven't died. You cannot die. So you cannot grasp the abject horror of dying. The cycle of life and death, the endless pattern of creation and destruction. I tore it in two and shaped the fraying threads into you and her. She is the shifting mound, the ebb and flow, the capacity to change. She is transformation, or most of it. Her nature is why I had to die, for she becomes that which others perceive her to be. But an echo can't perceive things, not in the way that people can. It wouldn't work. Her nature as the shifting mound makes it so nothing can last forever as it is now. It wouldn't matter how long the two of you waited. Eventually she would find a way to leave. And then everything would change. Everything would face oblivion. And until then, the... Are you lying? I can't tell. It's like I said, I'm just an echo.
I can finally see you, and you can. It's been so long, and my heart has ached for this moment. I've missed you dearly.
So I get it now. The narrator is a mortal, a human or something, and he was afraid to die. He was afraid to die, or he bear witness to something that made a lot of people die, or like the universe ending or something like that. And so he created a pocket dimension and he created two, I guess, beings or vessels, the Long Quiet and the Mound. The Mound is like death and transformation and the willingness to change and the constant like desire to change and for freedom, and then the Long Quiet is everything else, like a stasis, like a negative space, to not change, to not be someone. And they put both of them in a pocket dimension and forced them to kill each other over and over and over to avoid everybody in the narrator's universe from dying. Now, what was the thing that caused so much trouble that he had to literally force death to go into a pocket dimension? I don't know, but now I kind of understand it. She, if left untouched, will cause death to a lot of people. The narrator is trying to avoid that, and that's why I'm the player and the Long Quiet. That's what we are.
Every word you spoke found its way to me. I know him. He was deluded by his fear of death. Pay him no mind. Names are their attempts to capture that which cannot be captured. They call me the Shifting Mound. Ever the passive, when the echoes spun us from one into two, he gave you a choice and me a role to play. I am not death, but I contain it in my multitudes. So, will you attempt to destroy me and bring about a world devoid of death and the possibility of meaning?
So this time, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that the good ending is to free with him, because why would you want to live in a world where everything is stasis and nothing changes, right? There's no transformation, no death, no growth. everything's the same, everything's stagnant. It's pretty obvious that the true ending is to escape with her, that one we did last video. So now I'm gonna try to kill her, I guess.
I know, and I've been waiting for you to see it through. Violence has always been our language, hasn't it? If this is the place to stop, then so be it.
There are few things more terrifying than one's own heart. And there is almost nothing more terrifying than sharing it with another. But the most terrifying thing of all is to leave one's heart unshared. You are the only thing like me. And how could you bear the weight of an eternity alone? Do you dare to shape a reality of solitude and thrust it on creation?
Your certainty is an illusion of passion and reflex. You won't know what solitude truly.
Boundless torrent of blades cut you from boundless angles. You are a body. You are gory ribbons. You are on it goes until your bodies are not your thoughts, are not you. Alive, dead, alive. You learn to put yourself away. And in your stillness, you died countless steely deaths. And you lived countless short lives. And yet it is all so far behind you. I pushed you to a greatness you never... You speak of me as if I am a ghost. The sensation of bleeding and sweating and breaking and mending and dying as you feel the shame of 100 deaths and the pride of 100. Do you remember when we killed each other with such fervor? So bleakly nihilistic. Is death the end? That cold fire has left your eyes. You are nothing. A black hole of self-loathing fed by the matter of your restless thoughts. A dog. When I proclaimed my godhood and offered you a place at my side, you, only with both of us is there a future to look. And through your lack of one, you too were consumed. Yet, to question everything is to deny the truth in front of you. By believing in your suffering, you make your suffering real, bound for eternity, without impermanence. Would you strip my gifts away and leave everyone to suffer? Have you? Or is what you think of as You are unmovable. Are you so desperate? Nothing is immutable. There is no constant. You cannot remove something without removing the relations which define it. Open your arms. Then destroy me if you're able. But I...
You don't have to face her alone. You've been doing all right on your own, but you're not going to strike a decisive blow from out here. There's still a piece of me nestled close to...
It's time to resume our dance.
She's relentless, isn't she? You can't, and lucky for you, I'm not...
Okay.
And do you... Yeah. The interior of the cabin is, well, it's a cabin, yeah? There's no mirror. And I know I've already mentioned it, but if we want to see this through... No blade it is. If you're giving up...
We both...
It sounded just like that. A little sharp, a little... And down we go. We shouldn't keep her waiting.
And there you are, hands empty. And here I thought you wanted to kill me. Maybe there's still room for us to chat before the final curtain call. I don't think she's the sort of thing you can really disagree with. It doesn't matter if she's right or wrong because she exists. But I guess that was the question out there, wasn't it? And it was the question before you came down here, too. I'm glad. And I don't want to be her, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I'm happy not to be everything.
Right back at you. In a way, it hasn't been much time at all. But it feels like it's been forever. The first time we met, I cut your throat open. If anyone should be apologizing for anything, it should be me. You're only trying to help.
You know, when she...
I'm the same princess that's been with you since the beginning. But I also feel like I'm a lot more than I was then. We've been through a lot together. I don't think there's anything more real than that. Do you know where this cabin is? Because I don't. I don't even know what's supposed to be outside other than us. What would even happen if we leave? What would that even mean? Okay then.
I think I'm gonna stay right here. Don't mention it.
This is it. I have... Not that I'm... And if it's bad, then... Of course I am. Are you?
Okay, I kind of get it. I kind of get it. I kind of get a better picture now. You are a being she is like a being of death and transformation and like ever-present change, and I am a being of stillness, the long quiet. Some cataclysmic event happened that caused the universe to caused a bunch of people to die, either the world or the universe or something, and the narrator put me and her, created me, and then created like a vessel for her to put all of death and all of the mound in her, and they put the both of us in a pocket dimension, and we were to kill each other over and over to avoid people from dying. That's basically what happened. But as it stands, it's very difficult when you're ever-present change, right? You're always moving towards changing. So even no matter what you do, you end up feeding the being and feeding the person. So when you do that, you eventually give power to the mound, to the shifting mound, and you get to decide whether you want to kill her for good or leave with her for good, and then to what degree you want to do that. You want to do it like intimately or grandiosely. That kind of like decides on you. So I think I'm good here. I think like you can probably argue, because there's like a memory here that says like do it yourself, like destroy her without any outside help. Um, yeah, this is this as well. So like here, right, we can do it like grandiosely and like bombastically and like leave with her, or I can like defeat her, but I would need to defeat her in a way that does not need the help of like the voices. And I think for me to do that, I just need to pick the right vessels. So I already picked all of these. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3 more. So I'm like 2 playthroughs away from finishing everything. And I think in order for me to beat her, like beat her, I would need to collect the vessels from everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. So 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And once I collect the vessels, I would need to collect the five vessels that would make her the most prone to me beating her. Or more like, yeah, the most prone to me. This isn't even my final form. So I kind of get it now. I think the game's good. I think a lot of my complaints with the game are... I think a lot of my complaints with the game are, again, like, the moment to moment. It's, like, hard because all you want to do is get here, right? You want to get to this moment. And so you don't really care about what happens in the moment to moment beyond collecting the vessels themselves and giving it to her, the mound, or the final being, right? And so it's kind of, you're kind of denying a lot of the game that way. You're kind of denying a lot of the game. And now that I know what the guy is, what the narrator is, now that I know what he is, it's tricky. Let's see if I have a load safe with him. No, I don't. And that's fine. Yeah, so it becomes it becomes very repetitive because all you're doing really is collecting, and the only new content is the very, very end. And all of this, it's like cool to see how it transforms, but then so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like a fun, interesting game, I would say. I think this is worth trying out. And obviously, like it really speaks a lot about like the relationships between people, and like all the different turns it can take. And I think the nuances of how they were able to take a simple concept and then have it transform into all this stuff is really interesting. I just don't like the way the game is structured. I think if the game had like more meat to its bones, like where the moment-to-moment decisions were more consequential, I think the game would be better for it. But a lot of it, it's like, okay, like I have this vessel now, so now I can choose whatever I want as long as it gets me to her, right? It's like I don't really care what I say to her. I don't really care if I let her beat me. I don't really care if I let her seduce me. I don't really care if I beat her or I kill her because I'm getting the vessel at the end anyway. So I think that's my biggest complaint with the game. I don't know if I'll play more of this. I think I'm good here.